Hi there. This is a quick answer to a frequently asked question that's been coming up for House of the Dragon Season 2. How old is Alicent Hightower supposed to be? And more importantly, how is she a grandmother already? Well, definitively, she is 35 years old in Season 2. I'll walk you through the timeline on that. But the main question of this video is, how is she a grandmother at 35 years old? Well, the answer is simple. They've been breeding her like livestock since she was old enough to start bearing children. That she was married off at a young age to a king old enough to be her father and pumped out 4 children for him very quickly. That this is really just an extension of a timeline video I already made a week before the Season 2 premiere, that they were pretty consistent about date references during the time skips in Season 1, that there were 3 major time skips of 3 years after episode 2, and then you see that Alicent has already had a 2-year-old child at this point, and she's pregnant again. Then the big 10-year time skip, then another 6-year time skip. Plus, Rhaenyra was on her betrothal tour for 1 year. That's not counted as a full time skip, so yes, 20 years. And then in episode 8, Rhaenyra says, it's been 20 years since I was invested as heir and everything, so Alicent and Rhaenyra are supposed to both be roughly the same age at the start of the story, 14 going on 15. You consider like 6 months pass, and then they go, well, we're going to have a royal wedding as soon as spring comes in a couple of months. So she was married off at 15 going on 16-ish. That she had Aegon when she was 16. And then immediately got pregnant again. So the timeline is, without question, she is 35 years old in Season 2 after 20 years, because she started having children at around 16. Now, slight point of confusion here is that Alicent, the character, is 35. Olivia Cooke, the actor, is 30 years old right now. And she infamously has a very youthful face, with the big childlike eyes and the rounded face. She has a history of playing younger characters in various movies, like Ready Player One. She was playing a teenager, and that wasn't that long ago. But she looks a bit younger and is a little younger than Alicent the character. But of course, she has been playing Alicent across time skips. I mean, she started playing her before the final 6-year time skip, that she was the same age as Alicent when she was introduced in episodes 6 and 7, and now Alicent is slightly older, but it's fine, it works out that way. So that is upsetting, but that's what happened. And the other thing in terms of actor age versus character age, of how is she a grandmother already? Fia Saban, who plays Helena, is 25, but Helena, the character, has to be 17. That in terms of that she was a baby, you saw her when she was born by episode 4, 10 years, then 6 years in terms of the last 2 time skips. She's around 17 years old now. Then doing the math, consider that she gave birth to twins, fraternal twins, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, who are now in the TV show around 4 years old. They bred off Helena when she was 13. That she must have been pregnant when she was 13, as soon as she was old enough to have children. Why? Because just as Viserys needed a male heir, the Greens knew that Aegon's claim as a potential heir was stronger if he had children already. That another major reason that Viserys was seen as a good heir at the Great Council was, they do point out, unlike Laenor in the book, he already had a child, he had Rhaenyra, that there is a worry when you're picking successors. What if someone has a history of nothing but miscarriages, that like Maegor was infertile? That would have been a problem if they knew about it ahead of time. So Aegon, to strengthen his claim, they made him marry his sister, and on a personal level he didn't want to because he didn't like her that much. And you saw him complaining about that at Driftmark. Like right after that they got married, and maybe a year later produced these twin children, when Helena was arguably more of a child herself, because at least Alicent was like 16 when she started having children. So marrying off the girls as soon as possible and having them pop out children as soon as possible to strengthen the claims or potential claims of their lineage in a succession crisis is how Alicent is a grandmother at 35. And it's like passing down the mark of Cain, that just as this was done to her, she went along with doing it to her own daughter. Now, I'm making this before episode 3, that I've seen in the previews she'll have more scenes talking to Helena, and they cut out that in the book she has a younger, like toddler, 2-year-old named Maelor. And my running theory was that because they cut him out of the blood and cheese thing, that they are going, and the way the showrunners said it is, he doesn't exist yet, is that they're basically going to say, okay, time to get out that broodmare again, and Helena has to produce another son as quickly as possible. And in my head, I'm almost hearing her voice from when Alicent came in her room in episode 2. We have to do the funeral, but I don't want to. What if the preview scenes of her in episode 3 are, hey, you have to pop out another son, you have to get pregnant immediately, but I don't want to. That's how they do that, and to think that at the beginning of all this, Alicent was telling Rhaenys, no, we're supporting the patriarchy, but women can still steer things from the shadows. You are livestock to them, and you allowed the same thing to happen to you to happen to your daughter. I'm not angry at her. It's tragic that I hope in the TV show they have a scene of her realizing that this is how Liv Cook is playing a grandmother who's 35 years old in this show, and that's just what their system is, and it's unfair to them.